welcome to another episode of Nana Reads Reviews. Okay, so what I was going to do was I was going to react to the last episode of Big Dragon, but everything moves on very quickly in the BL world, and so I just decided, since everyone has pretty much seen episode 8, that I was going to go ahead and watch it before, and then just give a review of the series overall. Spoiler warning, if you haven't checked out the series, you definitely should. It's really good. I highly recommend it. I'll get to my rating. I'll get to my rating about it later. But yeah, I just want to go ahead and get started. So, Big Dragon was one of the big marquee series for Star Hunter, and to be honest, I wasn't really sure how it was gonna go because the last Star Hunter series I had seen that had a lot of episodes and had a big ensemble cast was Gen Y season 2. And that was not what I was expecting. And I personally, mm, it was just not, it was just not what I was looking for, basically. And then I saw What's Up Man with Bankbo. And that too fell a little short. Now, that was more enjoyable than, what Gen Y season 2 was. So, when I heard that they were doing Big Dragon, I was very skeptical in the beginning because I just didn't think they had them in them to make a really good quality series. However, I was very pleasantly surprised by Big Dragon. Um, they put in a lot of money into the series. Um, Cinematography wise, the shots were all super beautiful. Um, like, just to give, for example, there's this one shot in episode 8 that was really beautiful. Although it was sad. Um, so the cinematography, this is from episode 8, where they had the mom flashback of when she was basically when she was dying. Um, but it's still, I mean, the shot itself is still very gorgeous. This is, of course, when I was younger. Um, but the tone and the shot was they it was done so well, and the colors palette was brown and beige and just kind of, but it just matched the scene so well. And they did that throughout the entire series. In fact, let me go ahead here and show you a different scene um, from the previous episode, episode 7, before Guy found out that Maz was leaving. Sorry, Maz. Mancord was leaving. 1 second. So this scene is from episode 7, when they have like their date, and just the use of the colors. You could see, they're at a temple. There's the striking reds and the lanterns that were really very dominant in the series on the whole. They used the Chinese lanterns for a lot of the scenes. But we're just gonna go ahead and take a look. with the pillars in the background, the dragons, all the use of colors was very striking and very impressive. Like, I was not expecting this out of this series. Like, honestly, I was not. But the use of the colors were really impressive. They used a lot of reds and greens and golds, just to represent, different emotions, and it really worked. It really paid off. Um, and then let's just go talking about their acting too, because like Maz and Bank were fairly new. I know Bank has had a bit of troubles. Um, he was at a fan meeting and he said that he had filmed 4 series, and this was the first one that aired. Which is so sad because he's so talented. Like, he sings. If you've heard the theme song, if you heard the OST, "Dancing with the Devil," it is amazing. The song is amazing. Like, he put his whole heart and soul into when he sang that song. Um, but let's just take a look at some of their acting because. So this scene is from episode 5. It's when Cherry and Leghorn get caught by Yai. So we're just going to take a look at their acting and the intensity of their emotions in this scene.
พี่มีคนคุยแล้วนะพ่อกับเชอรี่จบแล้วอ่ะยายกลับไปก่อนมึงทำแบบนี้ได้ไงวะมันไม่ใช่เลยที่มึงคิดนะเว้ยมึงคิดว่ากูไม่มีสมองเหรอมึงคิดว่ากูไม่มีตาเหรอมึงทำแบบนี้ได้ไงวะมึงมีคนคุยอยู่แล้วนะเว้ยคนคุยคนที่คาเฟ่ไงกูรู้นะไม่ใช่แค่พี่น้องอ่ะไหนยังเบี้ยวนัดพี่อาโจที่ไหนได้แอบมาทำเรื่องเหี้ยๆกับใครก็ไม่รู้ก็กูบอกแล้วไงว่ามันไม่ใช่แบบที่มึงคิดถ้าไม่ใช่แบบที่กูคิดแล้วมันเป็นยังไงวะฮะมึงมีคนคุยอยู่แล้วนะเว้ยมึงไม่ควรทำตัวแบบเนี้ยมึงไม่สงสารผู้หญิงพวกนั้นเหรอวะไอ้เหี้ย
Like, you can already see, and in this episode 5, that Yai previously or has started to catch some feelings. Doesn't want to admit it yet, of course, and they get into a fight. But just the whole setup of this scene and just their raw emotions and the way that they acted it out was just amazing to me.
กล้าสอนกูได้ไงวะทั้งที่มึงแม่งก็เจ้าชู้ไม่ต่างจากกูอ่ะกูพูดเลยอะที่มึงทำตัวเหมือนโกรธกูเนี่ยเพราะมึงโกรธแทนผู้หญิงพวกนั้นหรือโกรธว่ามึงชอบกูวะตอบดิ ตอบ
And the rain came at the perfect time. The way that they set up the frame, the way they set up the shots, it's just, oh my God, it was so good. And I was like, I know I keep on saying this, but I was just not expecting it to be as good as it was. I was not expecting them to invest so much time and effort into the series when I first, saw the trailer. But I was very impressed.
ถ้ากูไม่ต้องตามลมคลิปเหี้ยนั่นน่ะกูไม่จะมึงนานแล้วเกลียดมึง
มึงแน่ใจนะถ้ามึงไม่มีคลิปเหี้ยนั่นมึงจะจากกูอ่ะ
อ้าวมึงอย่าเอาคลิปกูไปปล่อยเฮียอะไรก็หลงมึงกูไม่สนใจอะไรแล้วถ้ามึงอยากให้กูลบคลิปมึงก็ตามไปที่บ้านกู
สิ่งที่ผมต้องการจากมังกรมันคืออะไรกันแน่ I'll turn off all the lights so now we're
And I'm just gonna play just a little bit of this. Just the color scheme again of them being in the throes of passion and the red coloring in the series, in this shot in particular. Because we all know that red is a very popular color. It can signify rage, it can signify passion, and here it's obviously both because of the emotions that they're going through. It was such a beautiful shot. And of course, the whole scene was, pretty good. I mean, there was a lot of sex involved in this series, and that's okay, that's fine. And I enjoyed it. I mean, a lot of other people did. So, yeah. Okay, so I talked about the cinematography and how beautiful their shots are and the acting a bit. But now I just want to get into who Mancorn and Yai are as people. And so we had to go to the first episode where we get introduced to them. And we first get introduced to them in a very kind of, it was a super scandalous introduction. So basically, what the whole premise of Big Dragon is that, or, the synopsis of the story, is that basically Mancorn and Yai are two playboys. Who kind of do what they want. They don't really care about, others' feelings. Now, they are rivals. So Yai, in the beginning, really does not like Mancorn at all. Like, he just cannot stand him. He has, like, a dartboard with his face that he throws darts at. He really cannot stand him. And for Mancorn's part, I don't think he cared in the beginning that I didn't really like him. He found it entertaining. And so at first there's a girl, but not really. She's just kind of in the middle of their fight. And so Yai's big idea to get back at Mancorn is basically to film him in very compromising positions and to blackmail him. Now that did not really go according to plan, and there was a sex tape involved. As one does. And so that's how the series starts. Which, made a lot of people kind of uncomfortable and hesitant to start the series, which is understandable. It wasn't a very good look. But we're just gonna watch episode 1 for a bit and kind of kind of hear Yai's narration of the whole why the Chinese myth and why they used a lot of Chinese characters in the series.
ตำนานกล่าวว่า ชาวจีนตั้งแต่โบราณกาลได้มอบน่านฟ้าทั้งสี่ทิศให้สัตว์เทพทั้งสี่คุ้มครอง มังกรเขียว เสือขาว หงส์แดง และเต่าดำ แต่ในตำนานบทนี้ว่าด้วยเรื่องมังกรและใหญ่ชายหนุ่มสองคนที่มีความเจ้าชู้ดุดันกับเส้นทางที่จะเปลี่ยนชีวิตผมและมังกรไปตลอดกาล
I just the whole again the whole scene, the way that they used their colors and the themes of the show. It's just so impressive. I mean, it was just so utterly gorgeous. Like that whole like first opening scene was just so beautiful. Like I just like I loved it. Like I was so mesmerized when I first saw this.
ได้เก็บโอ้ทันช็อตเด็ดเลยเล่นมังกรยังไม่มา
This is Mancoin's family. So that's his little sister, that's his mom, and that's his dad.
มิลิน มิลิน
ฮะป๊า
ที่โทรหามังกรบ้างยังอ่ะ งานใกล้จะเลิกแล้วทำไมยังไม่มาอีก
หนูก็โทรไปรอบนึงแล้วไงป๊าพี่มังกรไม่รับเลย
ลองโทรอีกสักครั้งเลย
ได้ค่ะ
ใจเย็นก่อนได้ไหมรถติดเดี๋ยวมาดูนี่ก่อน
ก็เดี๋ยวงานใกล้จะเลิกแล้วจะให้มันมาดู
ฮัลโหลเฮียอยู่ไหนเนี่ยป๊ากับม้ารอนานแล้วนะ
บอกป้ากับไม้ทินารินพี่คงไปไม่ทันแล้วอ่ะพี่ต้องอ่านหนังสือกับเพื่อนอ่ะ แค่นี้นะ
เค
ฝากบอกป้าด้วยเจอกัน
แฟนโทรตามเหรอคะ
Now, Mancorn is very alpha male here. And I mean, he stays kind of alpha male throughout the series, but here is very evident throughout this entire scene about just kind of who he is in the beginning.
เปล่าค่ะ น้องสาวเราเอง
รอพี่นานไหม
And this is Yai. So, you know, in the beginning, we're led to believe that they are very much alpha males and that they, you know, do what they want whenever they want.
สำหรับพี่ดานานแค่ไหน ก็รอได้ครับ
เบื่อผับตัวเองแล้วเหรอ ถึงชวนพี่มาผับแถวนี้
ที่หนูทำอย่างวันนั้น ที่เราเคยทำกันไหมคะ
พี่ดาอยากทานอะไรไหมครับ
เอ๊ะพี่อยากทานอะไรใหญ่ๆ แถวนี้พอจะมีไหมนะ
Yeah, so that is how we get introduced to the both of them. So given with the first episode, I definitely thought the series was going to go more along the lines of this. And that it was going to be super messy and toxic. And sometimes it was. But for the most part, it was not that. So in the first few episodes, what Yai is trying to do is basically get back the footage, because of course it was a video camera, from their escapade. He's just constantly trying to get it from him in the first few episodes. And Mancorn basically says, "Oh, I'll give it back to you if you be my friend." That was the weirdest form of blackmail I've ever heard in my life. But there was a reason for that. anyway, so in the first like few episodes, like that's what he's trying to do. And then during like episode, I guess like 5, towards like the ends of episode 5, 6, and 7, you really see them to start like developing the relationship. Now, while all this is happening, Manquan finds out that his fathers have made an arrangement for him and his childhood friend Hong to get married. They are not thrilled with the idea, mostly because Hong is with a girl. She has a girlfriend, and Mancorn is falling, or is already. Spoiler warning. Has already liked Yai for a long time. So he kind of used that whole video situation to get closer to him, so that way he could start a relationship with this person. Really shady, by the way. But you just gotta let some of these things go sometimes. Anyway, so then, and he doesn't tell Yai about it either, which was the wrong move, because obviously if you're into somebody, you don't want to be the homewrecker. Unless you do. But in Yai's case, he didn't want to be that. And, he definitely didn't want to start a relationship with someone who already kind of has something going on with another person, So that was really interesting, that dynamic, or how that played out. But it was really intense for like a few episodes, well, like for like an episode, because they're just starting to like each other, and Yai for the first like couple episodes was not in a good place. His family was not necessarily broken, but Yai's mom died when he was young, when he was like I don't know, he looked around 10. And that really changed him as a person. He didn't accept the fact that his father was like dating like someone else, didn't want to hear it, was just like not considerate at all. Even though like, his stepmom did try, to kind of like say hi, I don't want to take her place, and Yai was just not having any of it. And at first, like, when I was first watching the series, like, I was like, the dad's an asshole. But, like, not really, because it's like, he may have chosen the wrong way to kind of introduce her to the family. But I don't think he was wrong in wanting to date another person. It seemed like a long time had passed since his first wife passed away. And so, you kind of have to, at some point, move on with, your life because you're still living. But it really did affect Yai a lot, and really just kind of made him seem like an asshole and a whiny jerk most of the time. It wasn't until those later episodes where, like, Yai became a bit, like, of a better person. So, that was really interesting. That whole family dynamic was really interesting to see too, because you can see Yai just hurting all the time, and like there's a phrase that says hurt people, and it's true. Like it is true, because you just kind of lash out because you don't have an outlet for your pain that you're in. I mean, Yai's outlet was it wasn't self-inflicted, but he liked being dominated, and he liked that kind of pain, which is not bad.
แต่ผมไม่อยากไป ถ้าลี่อยากไปก็ชวนพ่อไปกัน2 คนสิ จะมาชวนผมทำไม
จะไปไหนยังไม่ได้กินอะไรเลย
จะไปไหว้แม่ วันนี้วันเกิดแม่ วันเกิดเมียตัวเองจำไม่ได้เลย วันตายลูกก็จำได้ปะ
So this is kind of one of the scenes where it really just blew up. Um, prior, his stepmom kind of was inviting him to go to China. But that day, particularly as we saw in the scene, was his mom's birthday, and he was upset that one, nobody remembered, and that he was seeing the picture behind her of like his family, like while his mom was still alive, and he was just not having any of it. So this is a really kind of hard scene to watch too, only because it's like, they're trying, and it just seemed like he was being a jerk, which he was. But he was also suffering. He was also going through a lot of grief that he hadn't really processed, and he was still going through it. Like, grief can take a long time for people to process. And so it was just like one of those things where he just had to blow up. I'm not excusing his behavior, by the way. Like, just because you've been through things doesn't give you the right to be an asshole. Like, it doesn't. So I'm not excusing it, like, but I do understand, like, where he was coming from. He had a lot of trauma, and he just didn't have the tools, or didn't really know how to deal with it. So, this is just one of those things that happen. I will say that while the series was really good, and it was really surprising, I did not expect it to be as good as it was. And I definitely enjoyed the fact that they included a GL storyline in the series, because that representation I was not expecting. Um, but I'm glad it was there, because they gave a lot to this series, just in terms of them being a couple and being present. And they also talked about really important things like marriage equality, um, because in Thailand, if you're not aware, it's still not legal for same-sex couples to get married. They did try to pass that law, but it got voted down. And I just find it really funny because, like, or just sad, because it's like you country exports a lot of BL, like a lot. And for you to then go and be like, but you can't get married in our country, it's just kind of, it just does something to me. And I'm really glad, and not just Big Dragon, but I'm really glad that more series are just taking that up. It doesn't matter if they do a big episode about it. It's just the fact that they're mentioning it and that they're saying like this is unjust, this is unfair. That changes a lot of minds. Media has a lot of soft power and the ability to change people's opinions. And so I think that the more that they talk about it in series, the more other people will be like, well, I don't see what the big deal is. Because it's not a big deal. Everyone should have the right to marry who they want to. And it's my opinion. The other thing about this series, though, is that it was only 8 episodes. Now, they are doing a second season, which I am super happy about, because it's like one of the series that I'm like, yes. Like, there's been very few times where I've wanted a second season of certain shows, and I just never got them. But I'm really glad that they're doing a second season of this show. I'm really excited about where the plot lines and what the stories are going to go. I know that Cad is going to be in it. So we have the 3 kind of like mythical creatures. We have the dragon, the tiger, and now we have the turtle, which is going to be Tao. So I'm really looking forward to that. But one of the things that really I wanted it to have like a longer episodes, because it really did feel like they rushed some of the story. Like the storyline of how like Yai really fell for Mancorn um, wasn't really there. Like they did a good job. Like don't get me wrong. Like they did a great job doing what they did with what they had, script wise. Um, but I would have liked a little bit more like transition into like I hate you so much to now I can't imagine my life without you. I think there is a big disconnect happening there, and I would have liked to see more of that progression. Um, but other than that, I think the series did a really good job with the the theme, with the OST, with the cinematography. The acting was great. Everyone did a really amazing job with the series. So happy that I got to watch it, and I'm so happy. It really surprised me that it wasn't just another just NC heavy series just to have like NC scenes. Like, and even the NC scenes, right? Like, they meant something. Like, they weren't just thrown in just to have them. Like, they were deliberate. Like, they had deliberate thought placed into them. And that was great too. Like, I really enjoyed those scenes as well because they served a purpose and they were done with intent and they were done really beautifully. Um, also something that I enjoyed. But anyway, I really highly recommend this series. I'm gonna trigger warning. The first episode is really rough. But if you can get through the first episode, you're gonna be really, really pleasantly surprised. I think you're gonna fall in love with Mancorn and Yai and Nadir and Hong because they're such amazing characters, and the bodyguards too. They're so funny. They're like the funniest thing about the series. Like they had great comedic timing. Um, so it just has a little bit of everything. So I would definitely recommend you watch Big Dragon if you haven't already. It's on iQIYI and on YouTube. From YouTube, it's available with a subscription. So like, if you have you have to pay a membership to watch it. But that's kind of be up to you if you decide that may be worth it to you. It is on iQIYI. It also a paid subscription. Or just you know have some friends give you a password or something. But just watch the series. It's really good. I'm really glad that I saw this. I'm really glad that I reacted to it because it was a great series. And I'm going to miss them until next season. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review of Big Dragon. This is the first time I've done a review video. So I hope it's good. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. What are you looking forward to next season from Big Dragon? What are your predictions? I want to know. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye!